Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. So they're not even waiting to ambush you in the movie theaters anymore. They're just coming out and saying it. They're saying the quiet part out loud. You know, the part that they would pretend was never there. You're a conspiracy theory. Right-wing conspiracy theorist is making stuff up. Then you would go see a movie and it would just be filled with a bunch of woke garbage. Well, now they're just saying it out loud. They're telling you what's in the movie now, so you know what not to go waste your money on. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are going to go spend a lot of money on this movie still and then get on and complain that society is crumbling. And they're funding it by funding garbage like this. James Gunn, one of the most popular directors and just one of the really the most popular movie execs, is just telling you what his new Superman movie is going to be. Now, he's wildly famous for all the DC movies, essentially. Now he's saying that Superman is going to be political and screw anyone who takes offense of it. It's mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and something we have lost. Real quick, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. Now, he actually talked about this in an interview he did with the Times of London. Now, why is this so significant? Because Superman is one of the most recognized superheroes ever, one of the most beloved, universally loved as a superhero, and Superman has always been regarded as being like a representation of God's love to humanity. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing to look at Superman that way, but that's how a lot of people have interpreted Superman. And so he's known as truth, justice, and the American way. More on that in just a second. They changed that, by the way. He talks about how the movie is about politics. It is absolutely 100% about politics. Now they're not trying to tell you it's not, and then you go and see it and you're like, that was obviously you pushing your woke political agenda. But now it's going to be about woke politics. And I want you to see what he says about woke in just a second. The article says, yet the film is coming out during a summer of protests in the U.S. about President Trump's plans for and rhetoric about immigrants. Now, listen to how they phrase that. It's it's about immigrants, just flat out immigrants. It has nothing to do with legal or illegal, just immigrants. And they have to twist the truth here to make it sound like it's just flat out about all immigrants. And it has nothing to do with the fact that people are illegally in the country and they should, pay for their crime of doing something illegal. He goes on, and before you say Superman has gone woke, this is all in Superman's lengthy history. The Man of Steel's story is the ultimate example of a refugee who makes his new home better. And anybody that is against this political push in Superman, he says, screw them. Now remember, James Gunn is the same moral authority that was actually fired from his position when a bunch of old tweets came out showing that this man is disgusting. He also said, I like it when little touch me in my silly place. Yeah, I'm not even going to go on from here. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of tweets like this that he actually posted, and they get worse than this, by the way. I can't even show them on here. If I did, the video would get taken down. That's how bad they are. This is the same man who's standing up and thinks he has the moral authority to tell you what basic human kindness is and what love truly is and what acceptance is and how you need to conform to his type of thinking in order to be truly morally right. Here's a big old fat hypocritical part of the interview. Well, it all is, but here's a big one. I mean, Superman is the story of America. That's why James Gunn officially removed America from Superman's movie slogan. So not only is he telling you that this movie is going to be a political slap in your face, and it is literally just a woke pile of garbage. You don't even need to go see it to know that. In fact, you can see that on their IMDb page, they have the little information about the movie here. You can see that the slogan was changed. It says, as an embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way. It should say the American way, but they change it to the human way. Because remember, this movie is all about human kindness and accepting immigrants. Who cares whether they're here illegally or not? In fact, here is Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother. Him and his brother are a tag team, essentially. And this is what he had to say in an interview about this.
Your boss, your brother, talked about Superman being an immigrant. And now MAGA is already upset that he's called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction.
My reaction to that is that it is exactly what the movie is about, I think. That, we support our people, We love our immigrants. Yes, Superman is an immigrant. And yes, the people that we support in this country are immigrants, and if you don't like that, then you're not American. People who say no to immigrants are against the American way. They're against what the American dream is all about.
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Truth, justice, and the American way. You changed it to the human way. So no, don't say absolutely like that's the slogan. But again, they're trying to push it to say that basically MAGA, conservatives, anybody not on the extreme far left, woke, brain rot side, are against immigrants in general. Show me one time that there has ever been prominent pushes from a large swath of conservatives, prominent conservatives, the MAGAs, saying that they're against immigrants in general. You can't do it. What we are for is law and order. These people hate law and order. That's why they cause chaos every chance they get. But they want to shove their political woke agenda down your throat to indoctrinate you into thinking that people can come into our country illegally and you must support it because America is the only country on earth that's not allowed to have borders. Are these the immigrants that they're talking about and welcome with open arms illegally into our country? The same ones that was just setting LA on fire and causing copious amounts of damage, and the one where the sheriff of LA came out and said, you have no idea how bad the violence has been. You have no idea what my men are going through by facing these people who are in America, raising the flag of the country that they fled from, and then burning the flag of America at the same time while burning cop cars and throwing rocks at cops that are trapped under overpasses. Now, I'm not saying never go to the movies. It can be fun to go to the movies. But sometimes they tell you straight out the gate what their movie is, what the agenda is, and they save you the money of going to see the movie. This is one of those movies that's filled with woke garbage, and they're telling you that it's filled with woke garbage. Now, of course, Chris Pratt is a part of why Guardians of the Galaxy is so beloved. Chris Pratt is a self-proclaimed Christian in the industry, and he hasn't gotten involved in a lot of the political talk. In fact, he's been more outspoken about his faith than really anybody else in Hollywood, really. Here's Chris Pratt and James Gunn sitting together doing an interview. He is very starkly opposite from James Gunn in terms of what he allows to be seen of himself. Unfortunately, if it's anything like Guardians of the Galaxy, any of them, but the last one was Volume 3, this was the last big James Gunn movie. If it's anything like this movie, they're going to make almost $1 billion. So, because people can't, what is it? Why? Is it because you have to feed your lust of being entertained? Entertain me. I can't sit this movie out. Otherwise, what? Is it FOMO? Is it just needing your beady little brain to be entertained for an hour and a half while they pump you full of indoctrination and twist what Superman actually is? Because what is it? Why do you have to go see this movie? This is one of those movies, yes, you should absolutely sit out. And if you go and you see this movie and you give James Gunn your money, then you are supporting and funding the downfall of America. Didn't we learn this lesson with Snow White? Now, I think DC is on another level. So people are, at this point with Snow White, we're already burnt out on these live action remakes that go in and destroy the originals. So this was really understandable how Rachel Zegler, one of the worst actresses in Hollywood, tanked this movie. She still made millions of dollars off of it, by the way. Disney had to take all the losses. But do we remember that after Rachel Zegler came out with all her woke ideology and was trying to spread all the feminist garbage about Snow White, this movie, they paid over about $250 million. In fact, it's estimated to be closer to $300 million after they had to go redo all the dwarves because they were just a hideous decision by Disney at first to have the live action dwarves. And then they went back to the original dwarves. So it's probably closer to $300 million for this movie. And they made about $205 million. Now, there's people that are like, well, that still made a lot of money. That is a lot of money for you and me. But this movie would have had to make over $600 million to break even because you have to take into account the marketing budget. The fact that movie theaters take like half the cost of the movie tickets. They lost several $100 million on this movie. Don't let this guy trick you. He's not a moral authority. He doesn't know what's right. He doesn't care about immigrants. He doesn't care about anybody. He cares about himself. And that's the left in a nutshell. They care about themselves. It's me, myself, and I. And that's all it will ever be. And they twist morality. They twist the truth in order to tug at your heartstrings so that you fall for their woke agenda. There's no other way that they can convince you other than to lie to you. And that's what they're doing. In fact, Romans 1 talks about people like this, that they've been given over to a debased mind, which essentially means an unfit mind, a mind that isn't working properly. And they go on to do horrid things. And they're some of just the most morally corrupt people. Yet they try to convince you that they are the moral authority. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people. And it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.